Let me tell you about a legend, a man whose name still echoes through the whispers of seaside taverns and grand opera houses alike, Roger the Dodger. With his gleaming bald head and a mustache that could make Salvador Dali jealous, Roger wasn't your ordinary fellow. They say when Roger walked into a room, women would swoon and men would stand a little straighter. He had this way about him, you see, a sort of magical charm that wasn't just from his years as a master magician. No, this was something deeper, something he'd earned through a life that reads like a fantasy novel. Twice he'd circumnavigated the globe, not as a tourist, mind you, but as a true sailor. The stories he could tell would make your toes curl and your heart race. But perhaps his most infamous tale happened off the coast of Madagascar, during what he called his rather inconvenient disagreement with a shark. Picture this. There he was, performing one of his famous magic shows on a luxury liner's deck, when this massive great white, obviously a critic of the performing arts, decided to make Roger part of its dinner show. In what became known as the Great Bisection of '82, the shark actually bit him clean in half. Now, most folks would have called it quits right there, but not our Roger. The doctors, bless their hearts, did their best to put him back together, but something went wrong in the rush. For 6 months, Roger walked around with his left arm where his right should be, and his belly button somehow ended up just below his shoulder blade. But here's where Roger's true magic came into play. Using a combination of ancient mystical arts, modern medicine, and what he swears was just good old-fashioned willpower, he managed to rearrange himself back to proper order. Though he'd never admit it, some say on quiet nights you can still hear his organs playing musical chairs. Between shows at the Royal Opera House, where he was a regular fixture, Roger would regale young magicians with tales of his adventures.
He taught them that true magic wasn't just about tricks and illusions. It was about living life so fully that reality itself becomes more fantastic than any sleight of hand.
Even now, decades later, in magic circles and sailors' pubs, they still speak of Roger the Dodger, the man who charmed mermaids, befriended pirates, and turned misfortune into magic. Some say he's still out there, his mustache as magnificent as ever, teaching the ocean waves new tricks and making the stars dance in the night sky. That's the thing about legends like Roger, they never really die. They just transform into stories that remind us that life's greatest magic lies not in the tricks we perform, but in how we handle the unexpected twists and turns that fate throws our way.